Hello, folks. Welcome back. This is Chris in Central Pennsylvania with an update to the U.S. Refugee Resettlement Program for South Africans suffering from unjust racial discrimination. The website was updated today, July 24th, with the first major update in some time, and they've changed a few things. So I'm going to run through those and make a few points because people don't read and infer what they want instead of paying attention. This is coming from za.usembassy.gov, the Refugee Admissions Program for South Africans. It's dated 12 May. I know that was a few months ago. They have not updated. What I would have done if I was a web manager, a webmeister, I would have put that date, left that date because that's when the program was announced, and then put under it, updated on this date. But they didn't do that. The next thing it's a problem is that first thing you see is in bold type, admissions for Afrikaners under Executive Order 14204 addressing egregious actions in the Republic of South Africa. So there, they talk about Afrikaners, and people won't get past it. See, it's just for white people. No, it's not. It's just for farmers. It's not. It's just for Afrikaners. It's not. I don't know why. Probably because the executive order initially had that included in it. But if you go into the paragraph directly below that, it says to consider eligibility for U.S. refugee resettlement for people who are of Afrikaner ethnicity or a member of a racial minority in South Africa who are victims of unjust racial discrimination. Now, the big news here, it's in that paragraph. As of July 2025, the Department of State has shifted all support functions to RSC Africa. RSC Africa, which is a Resettlement Support Center, Africa, located in Nairobi. It's operated by Church World Service, based out of Indiana, and it's based in Nairobi, Kenya. RSC Africa is a trusted partner of the U.S. Refugee Admissions Program with over 20 years' experience and has no connection to the South African government. Those are all points that I made in the video when I announced this, when we confirmed that people are getting calls from the 254 country code and that these people are legit. They're on the ball. It's legitimate. It's not a scam. And I told you they had decades of experience. I even talked about them having brought in hundreds of thousands of refugees even before the 1980 Immigration Nationality Act. And they have no connection to the South African government. They will not share data with the South African government. So your information is protected. RSC Africa will be responsible for communicating with applicants and responding to their inquiries going forward. Now, they manage everything, including conducting the intake and referral interviews, collecting applicants' data and documentation, requesting background checks, scheduling your interviews, and arranging for medical exams, as well as booking your travel to the United States, all of which I thought was probably true. Without a confirmation from the U.S. government, I assumed that, and I analyzed it and told you that was likely to be true, then confirmed it with the U.S. government later on, and now they're actually putting it out so the world knows and not just relying on me. RSC Africa does not make decisions on your case. I also said that. They simply arrange for this. UCIS has the authority to adjudicate cases and decide whether you get to come here, not RSC Africa. So U.S. government employees working for U.S. Customs Immigration Service, they're the ones that make the decision. USCIS will continue to conduct the resettlement interviews on a regular basis, but they'll be doing it at work sites outside the embassy compound, which is something I predicted a long time ago. So they came up with this chart, says U.S. Refugee Admissions Program, South Africa. What happens? Start here. Complete the statement of interest on the embassy website. You get an initial assessment call from the Resettlement Support Center in Kenya. You'll get the first interview, applicant intake, with RSC Africa for referral consideration. Then you have ongoing security screening, including local background checks they do. The embassy submits a referral, then a second pre-screening interview with RSC Africa, then a third interview with USCIS. That's the people who make the decision, with the Department of Homeland Security and U.S. Citizen and Immigration Services. USCIS decision case moves forward, but if it's denied, it doesn't go forward. Then you get your medical screening. Then you get your refugee placement with the U.S. Resettlement Agency. Then you get your refugee cultural orientation and pre-departure briefings facilitated by RSC. Then you travel to the United States. All right? Further information. As part of this transition, the U.S. Embassy, Pretoria, is going to retire any email address previously used for inquiries and interview scheduling. And it's funny because they just reiterated on X that you had the PRM email. They're not going to use it anymore. I always assumed that they might not be using it. Now we know they won't use it for sure. And the statement of interest on the website gives the eligibility criteria, and they listed here again. South African nationality, Afrikaner ethnicity, or a member of a racial minority in South Africa must be able to articulate a past experience of persecution or fear of future persecution. If you meet all the criteria and want to be considered, go fill out statement of interest. If you already submitted a statement of interest, there is no need to resubmit. RSC Africa was going to work through the sizable volume of submissions, gathering your information for assessment by the U.S. government. Given the volume of interest, individuals may not receive a response for an extended period, which is something I also said, okay? And not all individuals who meet the basic eligibility criteria and are selected for initial interview will be referred. You may not be considered for it. That happens. But we don't know of anybody that's been denied yet. No one's told us. So there you go, folks. That's the update. They also have a form here And they warn you about giving out your information to people who are unverified, all right? And anyone you don't trust. Avoid emailing your identity documents to anyone. They don't even ask for you to email them. You should always maintain control of your identity. And they have a link here to report fraud. That's awesome. These are all things I asked my government to do for the past several months. And I reiterated much of that just the past few days and asked the government to do this. And now they're doing it. They've got a link to report fraud. If someone's defrauded you, like telling you they'll put you on a list and you pay them money. Remember that story? Yeah. They've also got a point out there about don't resubmit your request. There's a lot of requests out there. They've also informed you now that RSC Africa, which is part of World Church Services, is doing all the processing, not some of it. Now we have definitive answers on the things that we had supposition before in my analysis. Most of it was correct. In fact, all of it was correct. The one piece that I was unsure about was whether they were doing some of the processing in the States. Well, they were until now. Now, going forward, the 24th of July, 2025, all of it's being handled by RSC Africa. So that's a change. So there you have it, folks. A major update. Read the web page on the embassy. Print out the page. Highlight the parts that are important. Don't infer things that are not implied or clearly stated. Okay? That's where you all get yourselves in trouble. Be patient. It takes time. And there's the process. Good luck to anybody that wants to come. Once again, I'm not encouraging anybody to leave South Africa, and I'm not encouraging anybody not to leave South Africa. I'm agnostic. I cannot put myself in your shoes. It's your life. It's your experience. It's you facing the threats, not me, if you're facing them. But if you're an economic migrant, piss off. That's not what this is about. This is for people's lives are in jeopardy. All right? There you have it. It's not for farmers. It's not for Afrikaners. It's not for white people. It's for all those people, plus any other racial minority suffering unjust racial discrimination. There you have it, folks. Good luck. Cheers.